There we go. Oh, it's not streaming my password.
It's for the best.
I'm like, probably not what I wanted to. I think he has a 3-minute delay on the stream. Dude, it's pretty awesome. This little thing injects itself into the actual executable instead of the client. But you still log into the server using this too. And so you can use the exe. And it'll tell you if like the game hasn't started yet or whatever. But since there needs to be a 3-minute delay or whatever.
We're just going to be waiting here.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Or until it starts. It really ends up being like a minute and a half, 2 minutes usually. When you use this program. Which is kind of weird. But who cares? Right on, right on.
Right on.
Right on.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, bitch.
So we're going to be viewing Jungle Corki. Height of the metagame.
Yeah. So we have Queen Ashe. She's the queeniest. They have a lot of CC though on the blue team. The red team might have a couple issues, although ClakeyDeeeeeeee. Oh, it's ClakeyDeeeeeeee. Oh, StayBrutal's in this game. I could have just used the. Anyway. Fucking ClakeyDeeeeeeee. Oh, he's not playing with Marn. How depressing. So yeah, this will be a really interesting matchup.
Ton of physical coming out from blue team.
Yeah, even red team has some pretty nice physical damage.
Yeah, they've got three primary sources
they
of
have
physical.
2 executes. And a spammable Darius execute. That's just messed up. And then Trist is just annoying as hell. So is Lulu. It'll be a really interesting game. I think red team probably has the advantage though. I would definitely give an advantage to the red team just because of the strength of their executes and their survivability.
Probably going to see them babysitting Ashe over babysitting Corki since Ashe lacks the mobility that the Valkyrie will provide. It's really going to come down to the positioning of their 2 carries because once endgame rolls around, they're just going to chew through everybody on blue team. But that's going to be only if they can get away from them.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 rather non-traditional jungles between Jungle Corki and Jungle Garen.
30 seconds until
This could well end up being a very goofy-looking game.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. It's almost like both teams are trolling each other. But have the Garen changes gone through yet? Did that actually happen?
I'm not 100% sure. They might have gone through with the Diana patch.
I don't remember. I think, yeah, actually I think they did. They did. So that'll make him a little different. His... Definitely, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be weird. Yeah, break free from all slows from his decisive strike, so yeah, definitely.
Alright, also interesting is the choice of Dorn's Blade from Tristana. It's expected from Ashe because she gets the burst of the volley crit, and she has Taric versus staining her outside of healing potions.
Yeah.
But Tristana lacks that on account of Lulu.
Exactly, but then again, Ashe doesn't have the best harass since early game volley's on like a 29 million second cooldown.
That is true.
So it's not really going to be too much of a difference, and they have a ton of harass with Lulu and Trist. So they're going to be able to pop down on her relatively easily. Yeah, and Ashe is actually using her crit for the wolves anyway, or the golems, the mini golems, which is
We
really
have early
good because
fighting going on between Ahri and Ryze. They're scrapping in lane rather rudely. They aren't even waiting for level 2 abilities and cooldowns. They're just in each other's faces.
the Ryze is so hard right now.
He is extremely hard.
He's the hardest apparently.
They're already burning through their potions at a fiendish rate, and we already have an opening going down onto Lulu, who decides to ignore
Lulu's actually
Taric.
about to die.
She gets the glitter lance though. Tristana finally pops her ignite. She goes for the auto attack.
coming out.
The summoner heal comes out after ignite. Heather in the brush. The minions are ignoring the flight of the blue team. Good positioning by Tristana secures first blood for purple team. Close thing there, but once all the cooldowns were gone, we see Ryze with the dodgeball and the ignite. The healing potion is not enough. The game is very bloody already. 3 minutes in, 2 kills. in lane.
Red team, yeah, I mean...
Head-to-head, Corki's Valkyrieing in on bottom lane. He wants to pick up a kill. He's got red and blue. Does not want to take any tower shots at all. And...
It's not the tankiest.
Corki is not the tankiest jungler. And at the same time that Corki goes in bottom lane, Garen comes creeping up for, I imagine, a lane gank.
The Damascene brothers.
And picks up Riven. So every lane has had a death, and they've all been blue team.
That is not, it's not a good start for the blue team. I thought the Corki jungle looked really promising, but it looks like it's not happening quite as we thought. Garen's passive is going to be very useful against going against these minions, because his passive doesn't get procced against minions, but it might on jungle creeps. I'm not sure now, but as far as I know, they changed it to where it is. Yeah,
Well, it appears to be just damage
yeah.
entirely.
I don't know. They said it was changed to minions won't actually affect it, but maybe jungle minions do, and it's just minions. Because
The non-neutral minions will not affect it.
Yeah.
In the same way that Evelyn has the non-neutral specific tag for her passive.
Yeah, exactly.
To keep her from being an absurdly godlike jungler. We have some aggression going down in mid. Ryze hits the dodgeball to Rune Prison, the blue ball of justice, and he is just walking right back in there. Ahri does not want to get pushed out of her lane. She's willing to take the damage to keep from happening. Riven gets a tiny, teeny bit of harass on Darius and doesn't pay for it. She manages to dance out of range of the apprehend.
Ryze is just such a huge counter against Ahri, especially once she hits 6. She's not really going to be able to get out of there. He's just going to Rune Prisoner and just lower her up with all the dodgeballs.
We're actually seeing Darius connecting with his abilities the way that he wants to. He's putting a bit more damage on the Riven than she is on him. But as long as his apprehend is off cooldown, he can go in and trade a lot more effectively. Yeah, right there, even though she lands the charm, she ends up eating the Rune Prison, but Corki comes in from the trees.
And the great thing about Corki is he's able to push lanes really, really hard. And now Ryze is going to lose a massive creep wave, but at least Garen's there to pick it up. Good guy Garen, being able to pick up all the leftover creep kills. Corki, he has a lot of AoE damage. He's actually
able to do a pretty good quick jungle clear, and then Valkyrie over the wall is surprisingly useful. The ranged red buff is stacking a lot of true damage. There's no way to get around that without stacking a bunch of health of your own.
So that's going to be very powerful later on in the game. I think you might be able to effectively farm with this as well.
He is going to have to go back soon without the benefit of the blue buff.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we're going to see how Liquid there is going to counteract the mana hungriness of Corki. Ahri goes in on Ryze again. She lands another charm, but she's not able to get a full burst off before he's able to snap out of it and Rune Prison.
Yeah, and the bouncing blue ball. Oh, looks like Garen is actually coming in for a gank here. Is he going to land the silence?
He gets the silence. He flashes straight into the taunt, but he gets close enough to get it. Is he going to pick it up? Yes, he will. Ryze gets the assist, and that's going to be beneficial in the wake of that Corki gank.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, volley crit on the Lulu does a substantial amount of damage.
Yeah, that was dirty.
They've been harassing down Taric pretty well, but Ashe is still at high health. Tristana's a bit lower. Taric still has the dedicated heal.
They're both really
And then sudden ballsiness coming in from Tristana onto Ashe. Goes for one last auto attack. Igniting the explosive shot. Pick it up together. Tristana, after the kill, manages to get the rocket jump away. Picks and Litter Lance are going to finish off Taric. And another super close fight on bottom lane favoring the purple team. Meanwhile, up top we have Garen and Darius ganging up on Riven, but Riven manages to pick up Darius under the tower. Is she going to be able to get away from Garen? She does not. Justice is served.
Justice has definitely been cut in half. Stabbed in the throat. So many dunks. I don't even know what to do anymore.
We have had more than 1 kill per minute this game. It's extremely aggressive. People need to die.
There's a lot of bruisers in this game. A lot of really close range machine gun like champions. Except for Trist, of course. But everybody else is relatively long range.
It's actually interesting. Purple team is rocking 2 hard bruisers and... Red team? Oh, sorry, colorblind.
Yes.
Red
Some
team.
people don't know what purple is.
Okay, my bad. I forgot to account for their hindered existence. So, anyhow, where was I? Red team, right? They're sitting on 2 bruisers where blue team has 2 ranged carries, and like we said, it's going to be about how well they maintain position.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of defenses they're going to have, because Ahri needs defense, and then so does the laning
We
carries.
just have another violent lane action going on. Ryze doesn't quite get picked up by the Ignited. Oh, but is he going to get picked up by Corki? Corki has the phosphorus bomb, and he has his rockets. Right now, Garen does not quite have his ultimate, so he's not able to pick him up. He's going to chase him down onto that tower, though. He might. He gets one last auto attack. Is he going to die?
No, he won't.
He will not. I lied. Garen did, in fact, get the kill.
ClakeyDeeeeeeee, man. It's all about the fighting games.
And bottom lane is definitely tilted in favor of red team. We're going to rewind and see how that all panned out.
Yeah, I don't know how Tristana was able to pick up that kill. I mean, the
Comes looping in,
the
and
dazzle's
Tristana
up.
just goes for it. She leaps in, does a ton of burst damage, and then along with the ignite, the explosive shot.
The
Oh no,
ultimate.
no ignite yet. So that was all explosive. That was all
Yeah,
abilities.
buster shot.
Lulu is a very high damage champion. We'll hold on to that. We see 2 executes going down. Ignite onto Darius. Not quite enough.
That was really close.
Another super close fight.
Both the ignites came off at the same exact time. They both executed at about the same time.
Riven just needed one more auto attack before she did it. She probably would have had the kill, but
Definitely.
as it turns out, Darius lives with under half a bar of health.
He just dunks on people too. He does.
It is indeed. I think what we're seeing in mid lane is that Ahri isn't poking hard enough before she actually goes in for her engages. Right now, Ryze's ultimate is down, so he's lost a little bit of spell damp.
It's also weird is that Ryze doesn't have a Tear of the Goddess or
You're right.
he doesn't have anything for his mana yet.
He has a blasting wand,
He doesn't
and
have
he
a
has
catalyst either.
and he has a ruby.
Yeah, so he has the health, so he might be going for that catalyst soon. Oh my
Bottom
gosh,
lane.
Ashe is just tanking all those towers. Bottom lane actually goes down, and now Corki's coming after Lulu. She does flash and Glitter Lance on her way out.
And Corki is too oob to actually follow up on it. Now we have more action going on in mid. Ahri gets the dash away into the taunt, perfectly timed to avoid it. She goes back in with a little bit more aggression, but she eats the Rune Prism from Ryze, like we were talking about earlier. She goes in a 3rd time, and she manages
Really
to
close
almost
to a
get
double
herself
kill.
a double kill. Picking up an extra blue buff might have been really handy for her.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
So,
So-
extremely intense game. No rest coming in from any of the lanes, and nobody's...
Yeah, as far as ward coverage goes, blue team has the bottom river warded up pretty nicely. They really want to have that dragon control because they know that red team is ahead. So they want to make sure that they don't just... Oh, and Garen coming out of that top rush.
But he eats the charm and he eats the orb. Doesn't quite die, but once again, he just goes tromping off through his own jungle, through his own lanes with barely any health.
Lulu's really taking control of this this bottom part of the river. They did take down this bottom tower. That's going to reduce their dragon control by a significant amount. And the fact that she also put a pink ward down at dragon, they're really not going to be able to do anything about the dragon if they decide to go after it.
See another slugfest happening up in top lane. Both characters are at about half health. Something to note about bottom lane, as Corki comes wandering down it, is that Lulu doesn't have any boots. She's content to sit on her advantage, but I don't know how long that advantage is going to last. The Taric stun comes in. Buster Shot doesn't quite hit out Corki. She's going to drop to the combination of red buff and just straight up DPS that Corki puts out. So Lulu went for 2 gold per 10 instead of maneuverability, so that they could sit on the advantage that they'd accrued and just extend it further, but it ended up not paying off right there. Eating too many arrows to the face is not good for a Yordle.
I also think that was an interesting move by Tristana, since she used her Buster Shot after the Dazzle went down and the Shatter. So I think that was either just a
We've got the flash, we've got the silence coming in from Garen, running straight down river. He wants to pick up Taric. I don't know if he's going to be able to. Corki's coming down through that part of the jungle. He has his red buff. Gets another decisive strike. He wants to get his execute off, but Ashe is slowing him down, and Corki's doing a lot of work on him. He's got his own red buff slowing him. Final rocket comes up. Tristana's right in the middle, trying to kill Ashe. She does pick up the kill, but... Oh, not Ashe, Taric. Taric was the low one.
Yeah, they both look like this.
They're both very fabulous.
They are fabulous.
And right there we see Ahri getting a little too close to Ryze. She's going to take a lot of damage from this, and Ryze flashes in after casting the spell. Not 100% sure on the efficacy of that combo, but he gave it a shot anyhow. And he pushed her out of lane, which, considering he's up 78 CS to 60 and 3 kills to 0,
has a massive advantage and almost 1,000, 1,300 gold in the lead.
And he finally does have that catalyst. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't actually. Yeah, he doesn't quite have the gold for the Rod of Ages yet, which is kind of surprising since he has such an advantage. It's interesting to me that he just doesn't quite have that gold, so I don't know if he's just not farming as normal. He did get those Sork shoes and pick up a couple wards, so that probably set him back. Because with 3 kills, yeah, he has died 3 times, so he probably just hasn't farmed as well as he normally would at this point in time.
Yeah.
But I definitely see him going back extremely soon. Yeah, he does have a 745.
Oh, we have more action going down on bottom lane. The arrow comes out, hits Lulu, she flashes straight down lane rather than over a wall, so she gets picked up by the linear rockets from Corki. And we're seeing that Corki right now is being the star of Blue Team's show. Everywhere he has ganked, he has ended up picking up the kills. Top, we have Garen, not quite able to connect with anything onto Riven. A good chain of abilities from her to get the mobility and the stun. She goes back to do a little more damage just because she can. She is such a mobile champion, able to get in and out, especially on other melee champs.
In the meantime, Corki's actually going to be able to pick up this kill on the Ryze. We missed that.
I'm going to take a look. Does she get the charm? She flashes into the charm, and the combo burst Corki and Ahri just melts Ryze's face straight off. There's blue paint all over the floor of Summoner's Rift now.
Blue team is slain.
Blue team picks up the dragon. We have another slap fight going on in top lane between Riven and Darius. Putting each other down to half health. She's just going to dash away.
Those 5 stacks of hemorrhage, it puts her in a very dangerous position. She is going to take down from the damage over time, especially from 5 stacks, and the more damage she's actually going to take from his Noxian Guillotine, and that is where it gets really dangerous, because it's hard to estimate the amount of damage that he's going to be able to put out with that specific ability, especially since he's level 11 now. It's really dangerous for her.
You get accustomed to seeing a certain amount of damage from abilities. We take a look at Riven's build, so we get a little eye on that. Yeah, we see that she's got the Ninja Tabi, and she's got the 2 Doran's Blades, so she's going to be accustomed to a certain level of tanking, and she's then just going to be incredibly deceptive how much damage Darius does when the 5 stacks of hemorrhage coupled with his ultimate.
I can't believe that Apprehend didn't actually go down. And now 2 wards going down to Lulu and jungle, which is weird. I don't know why they put a... Yeah, that was...
She is cashing in.
I don't know why they had 2 wards there.
We've got Garen up in top lane. He decides it's not worth his time to hang out that long. So he's just going to pick up creeps on her tower, do the best he can.
She's learned from the beginning not to overextend against a Garen Darius, since Garen's been missing for a while. She just kind of assumes that he's up there.
Right, bottom lane there. Oh, we have the arrow coming in from Ashe, going all the way across the lane, barely whiffs Ryze. Very
Is it gonna hit Garen? No.
It does not quite hit Garen. Too sad.
Always.
So now we have 3 people converging on bottom lane. Lulu's
like
slightly
Lulu
overextended. She gives herself the whimsy, wants to get out. Glitterlance is going to keep her from getting dazzled. The Corki Phosphorus Bomb to get vision, hits with the red buff, going to slow her down. The burst going on to Corki, though, from Tristana is very substantial, and she manages to get a kill on him, and that's a shutdown. That's a lot of cash for Tristana that already has 6 kills.
Oh, Garen's coming down, might pull out the signs. He's going to get dazzled first.
Does get dazzled after he connects with the decisive strike and the red buff. He eats an exhaust, and now he's being successfully kited by Ashe, which is what we may be seeing later on in the game. She's got the slow. With proper kiting, she's going to keep Darius and Garen at bay. In top lane, we have an overextension from Darius, too willing to fight against the Riven, as Ahri comes creeping up from behind his jungle. He's tremendously overextended. He wants to hit with the Noxian Guillotine, but then he decides it's time to run. Not quite able to get his ult off in time. And that's a dead Darius.
That is a dead Darius, and Darius is getting a little bit overconfident. He noticed that he's able to push out Riven relatively easily from that, from the lane now, but Ahri just wasn't having it. Riven was saying, hey, I need some help, and Ahri came right back up and really pulled it out.
She took the long way around through the jungle to ensure that there weren't any wards, but she didn't know that. So had there been any... Oh, we have a Dazzle going down onto Lulu. Ashe overestimates how far she was going to get, whiffs with the arrow, threads the needle, and we have a fight potentially going down at Golem. This has been an incredibly active game. 30 kills, almost 2 kills per minute at this point. Very intense.
Yeah, and the red team knew exactly where they were going. They do have that ward here right at Dragon, and so they're able to tell where they were going before they were even there, and then just that little extra buff, or the little extra ward right there, is that going to kill her? The last Ignite will take her out, and now, Ashe's kiting is not going to quite slow Ryze down enough for them to be able to pick up that kill.
Now we've noticed that Ahri and Ryze are extremely willing to get into these little slap fights in lane against each other. And right now they both have 4 deaths, and almost all of them have been from having these little skirmishes where they just butt foreheads, basically. They're just slamming into each other and hoping the other one falls over first. So far it's been working out a lot more for Ryze, but to be fair, a lot of times Corki has been able to come out and get kills as well. He has 9 kills. He has the most on the field.
Yeah, Corki's extremely fed right now. He already has a Trinity Force and a Wriggles with Berserker Greaves at 19 minutes into the game, which is extremely early no matter who or where you are. 19 minutes is very early to have that type of set of items without any gold for 10s especially. So great job by Corki, just showing that his presence is obviously valued across the entire map. Very underrated jungler apparently. It looks like they thought it was a massive troll. It looks like Garen might be actually coming in for a gank here.
No, Riven's paying attention to her minimap. She's a little less worried. She sees him starting to recall, so she's dancing around. We have a little fight going on. Tristana actually gets picked up by the massive block of arrow, comboed with the Dazzle, the burst of Corki. She's going to go down. Ahri comes in. This is the charm. Lulu's whimsying away, hits the glitter lance. She looks like she's going to be safe.
And Ryze already coming out with that really early Negatron cloak, picking up the second blasting one. I think he's probably going to actually, sorry. Garen is now coming in with the silence, doesn't quite make it before she's just able to bunny hop her way out of there.
Riven is far too mobile, the bunny skin giving her Counter-Strike-esque powers of mobility. She's just getting out. And right there we see something we haven't spoken of with regards to the blue team. That they have incredible creep clearing power between Ashe, Ahri, Corki, and Riven to a certain extent.
Yeah,
so
Riven's really good. If she's tanking the minions, she can just clear the wave really easily with just her Q and her
right there, she just picks up the tower. Darius is going to try and chase her down, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. He flashes for it, gets the apprehend, but he eats the stun. Her cooldowns are going to be up again for another retreat. She gets the dash away, she gets 3 hops. Little bunny Riven, impossible to catch.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a waste on Darian's part. He does know that she was very mobile. She does have Summer Hail. It wasn't up yet, but it was really close. I don't think he has the exact counter on it. But I mean, he knew that she had a ninja patty, and I knew that he wasn't going to kill her. And he's
kind of a surprise. Okay, we have Corki hunting down Lulu, eats a glitter lance, decides to flash anyhow, gets a last clutch rocket, and just murks Lulu in the middle of her own jungle. She was not anticipating that. Ouch. We know that Corki and Ashe are duo queuing, so it's not surprising in the least to see him babysitting that lane. Corki's mobility combined with his early game burst, the ranged attack which allows him to proc red buff from a distance, very useful. Garen's
able to get one spirit rush off before she gets silenced. It almost went off at the same exact time.
Seeing that Garen is actually proving less effective of a gamer than Corki. Ryze is melting under the vengeful stare of Ahri and Corki combined. They do so much damage together, and so far we're seeing that blue team, their ability to pick people off and melt them almost instantly is really substantial, and since they're getting so many kills, it's not liable to drop off, even in the face of 2 tanky bruisers like Garen and Darius.
Yeah, I mean, at 22 minutes, a Corki with 9,500 gold is absolutely insane. He's able to pull ahead of even the Tristana and his own AD carry. So it's... regardless, it just kind of gave them those 2 really powerful AD carries, and putting Ashe more in that support utility role like game, which she's really known for with her Her ultimate as well as her volley just completely slowing down the entire enemy team. It's going to be incredibly helpful. They don't have much of anything they can do to cancel any of those slows except for Garen's Q. He also tries to counter it with boost of mobility, which isn't really going to help too much. It'll only help when he's trying to gank. But as we've said before, his ganks aren't really proving to be all that useful. The Yomu's Ghost Hood will give him some help, but that's about it.
Right now, we saw right there, Ashe was firing a lot of toothpicks at Darius, but simply from laning against Riven, the combo of Ninja Tabi and Wriggles gives him a hefty chunk of armor, and Ashe just isn't up where she needs to be in terms of damage. Tristana has a lot more CS than her. She has a lot more kills than her. Oh, we have the Ashe arrow hitting Garen, followed by the dazzle. Corki helps the Ryze overextends into the middle of the fight. He gets picked up. We have the rushes and dashes coming in from all members. That slow from Ashe is going to slow Lulu long enough to get in range of the dazzle. Corki's going to pick up a double kill. 2 of those 3 went to the already insanely powerful Corki. Taric pops and Shirelius, hoping to catch Tristana with the dazzle. She goes a little maybe walk away. Can't be caught.
Yeah, I was interested in that Shirelius pop. I almost thought that it's possible that the red team surrendered at that point. I'm assuming that the morale is relatively low at this point. Losing to a jungle Corki is got to be relatively demoralizing, just because it's something that I personally have actually never ever seen or heard of. So it's completely new to me, but it seems to be working out pretty effectively, and I think that might just be overconfidence.
Yeah, red team, purple team had a substantial lead early on. We got a little overconfident and overextended, and all of the money got funneled into Corki, who is only beneath Vayne and Kog'Maw when it comes to absolute hard carrying in the late game. His damage is just absurd, and it actually works throughout the entire game.
Yeah, the fact that he has a mix of damages, he's not just AD, he's not just AP, he's both AD and AP, which makes that Trinity Force that much better. With
a garnish of true damage.
Yeah,
from his
exactly. So he kind of splashes in everything, which makes him so powerful. I didn't know that when he put wards down, they kind of twisted like that. That's the first time I've seen that. Did they always do that? I don't know. Oh, Corki's coming in. Might be going on to this. Darius. Oh, great Ashe
proc times perfectly with the Ashe arrow. Riven and Darius can barely do anything with that decimate. And that is a free kill. They know purple team, red team no longer has wards on the Baron. Taric lays the ward down outside of it. Pops Radiance, the damage.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting fight. I don't know if they're going to try to jump in here.
Another ward. Riven's popping her ult, but Corki ends up smiting, getting the kill, and then Spirit Rush over, pops Shirelius along with Dazzle. They are able to hunt down Tristana, no problem. Now that's 3 dead members of the red team along with the lost Baron. This game is completely swung in blue's favor.
Yeah, and that's going to be an over GG for sure. That was definitely something they really needed to pick up that Baron. Ryze tried to flash into that Baron pit and pick that up. He was just a little bit off on his timing and unfortunately wasn't able to pick that up.
Corki's also level 16, so that means his smite is going to be more powerful for killing Baron than anything that the red team had.
Exactly. And so that was just a huge hit. Once they were able to pick up that Darius top, just gave them that free Baron at that moment in time, and Garen wasn't around to try to flash through and smite, so it was just, there was nothing that they could do. Ryze did what he could, it just didn't quite go through the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, when you're in a position like that, it could be easy to criticize and say, oh, Ryze, why'd you do that? And then, oh, well, of course you surrender, you're all bad. But in truth, when you're behind like that and the numbers are in their favor, you have to make a ballsy turnaround play like that. You have to deprive blue team of Baron and all the accompanying gold. And if it doesn't work out, you just say GG and move on.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, trading a Baron for 1 kill is not going to be that huge of a difference. And it's also possible that the other people on the other side of that wall did have their flash up. Mm-hmm. I know Trist had her jump, so if they did get Baron, it's possible they could have initiated on it. I don't think they would have, but it is possible.
Yeah, but we also saw the combination of flash, 3 Spirit Rushes from Ahri, a flash and a Shirelius from Taric.
Yeah.
There was no amount of hopping and buster shotting that was going to save Tristana. We also note right now that she's rocking the Heal Ignite combo, which would do a lot for explaining the dominance that they had in those early fights against Ashe and Taric.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
the downside is that it cost her a flash, which against a character like Ahri, she absolutely needed.
Ahri will still have 3 rushes though, and that's the weird part, because going against somebody with 3 rushes when you have 2 hops, it's like you have to jump over a wall and then flash over another wall,
And then
or just
Buster shot her while dodging a charm.
And that's not something that's really doable in a normal particular match. Usually you just kind of have to sit there and tank it, maybe try to avoid a Spirit Rush or 2 to get out of range, or Buster shot her out of the way and kind of jump back, and then focus on somebody else, because at that point I don't think Ahri's going to come right into you. As long as you Buster shot her into your entire team, she shouldn't have an easy time getting back to you, especially with that Ryze.
Another downside we see is that Tristana, she has her jump away, she has her Buster shot, but she didn't really have anyone who is dedicated to peeling for her.
Exactly.
Lulu has her slow, she has her Glitter Lance, which is really effective against any character, but Ahri has blinks and dashes. So she has the ability to say, I don't care that I'm slowed, I'm going to use the ability to move a set distance, wait out the Glitter Lance slow. She was just able to get on top of Tristana, stick to her until she was dead.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Polymorph, the Silence, and the Rune Prison from Ryze. They weren't able to group up as a team and really get that all onto the Ahri. But then again, the Ahri wasn't a huge deal this game. It was really the Corki that just kind of smashed everybody.
Yeah, at this point, we're kind of theory crafting it just in terms of what might have happened.
Yeah.
Because really, we never did see Red Team group up as a concrete unit and start fighting with all of their power.
Yeah,
Mostly we saw Blue Team converging on them when they got overconfident, surging ahead, picking up kill after kill, objective after objective, and then Red Team was just too sad to go on.
Exactly, and that's what it takes. Sometimes you just need to pick the entire team apart until they're completely demoralized to the point where they don't even want to play anymore and they just surrender.
My advice to people when they play solo queue, if they're having trouble winning, is find the feeder. There's always a feeder in the game. You find which one of them is on the other team, you pick on them until every other member of their team doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, and even if there's a feeder on your team, the best thing to do is just hang around that feeder, because the whole team is going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be going after the same person over and over and over again. So if your entire team is there waiting for it, then you can easily counter-initiate onto that team, and they're not going to expect it since they've been feeding off that guy the entire game.
Alright, let's just point something out. Corki's sitting on about 12,000 gold. Next closest person was his own Ahri with 8594. It was almost 4,000 ahead of the next closest person
in the entire game.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
In fact, you're looking at that right there, 12,000 gold. We're talking end game Corki right there. In a nutshell, that's what he wants.
Yeah,
a
he already had the
Triforce,
Infinity Edge,
an Infinity Edge, and then the normal jungler's wriggles. Yeah, we're gonna hand the game to Corki right there. We'll tip our hat to Jungle Corki for being the maniac from the trees.
Leave it to St. Vicious to jungle Corki. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright, I think we're done for the day. But thanks for watching, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow. Do you have any shout-outs, Rob?
Shout-outs to my friend Strider Stone here for giving me a shot at the mic. It's my first time casting LoL games. It was bunches of fun. Hopefully y'all will see me back sometime soon. Have a good night.
Alright, that's it for me too, guys. And again, if you like my videos, make sure to click that like button, click that subscribe button, and tune in for the daily high ELO casting. And see you tomorrow.